Hey guys, LoRenz here. I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome to part one of a three-part series breaking down my latest single, Accessorized Love. Part one will be the beat breakdown, part two will be the lyrical breakdown, and part three will be the mix and mastering breakdown. So in part one, I'll show you the instruments, the vocal production, the structure, how I made the song, the philosophy behind it. Part two will be more about the concept of the song, the lyrics. And part three will be about the whole mixing process. So the mixing philosophy, what plugins I used, why I used it. So stay tuned. I think you guys will enjoy the content and the whole creative process behind my latest single. So let's get to it. One clip, one clip, one clip, two clips. So before I get actually into the whole production process, I have to talk about the philosophy behind creating this. What's really important to understand is that in August 2024, I had set the goal that every week I wanted to make a beat. This goal came by because a few reasons. One, I wanted to be more creative and free in my expression of my art. And what I mean by that is when I first started my rapping career when I was 17 years old. Wow, that's soon 8 years ago. Wow. When I started my career rapping, I used YouTube beats, or I collabed with a producer. So far, all the beats that I've released on my page all came from YouTube beats. I'm unafraid to say to you guys, I find YouTube beats are really well produced. It's a great starting point, especially for those who have no experience in making beats. It took me 4 years to finally take the jump to say, like, no, okay, let me start making my own beats and really become less limited creatively. So let's break down the song. So the foundation of the beat starts with this Rhodes 4-bar Rhodes loop that I found in the Satin Slate Digital Satin sample pack. Yes, I use a sample. That's cheating. Why are you using a sample? Listen, I'm not that great of a player. I wanted a Rhodes sound, so what better way to have a Rhodes sound than to sample it from a quality sample and yeah, just use it for your beat, like there are no rules to it. Some of the best and some of your favorite beats came from samples, so grow up. Kidding. But anyways, I used a sample. It's a Rhodes sample, so let's listen to that Rhodes sample right here. I really like that little bright. It feels like it's stars, So already the Rhodes sample is super dreamy. It's vibey. It got like that, almost like a sexy mood, if I can say that way. But what I added next was then the drums. Now the drums is also a sample. But listen, I really tried playing the drums. I like playing drums on the pad, but I swear that I was playing a rhythm in my head that I thought would sound good. It didn't sound right. I'm not a fan of like programming with the mouse, like just entering the kick on the one, then the snare on the 2 and 4. Like no, I wasn't into like programming the drums manually with click and mouse. Sometimes it works, but I really wanted a live drum feel. So I took another drum sample. It's also a 4-bar loop. So I will play the drum loop. Okay, so that's the drum loop basically. A pretty simple one. So the snare is on 2/4 beat. The kick is on the 1 beat and the 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, yeah, it's on the 3 and on the upbeat, and then you have like eighth notes, hi hats playing on top of that. Of course, when I took the sample, I separated the sample, right? But I'll talk about this more in the mix processing in the mix video because, yeah, this is more like mix in my mix philosophy. So yeah, now you have the drums and then you have the Rhodes. You can almost say that the beat is done, right? It feels like cheating when you're using really good samples, right? Like a beat, it can be done in like 20 minutes with really good samples. But I decided to play some parts live. What's really beautiful actually about this creation, like making your own beats, is that you can make it progressively. And this is how I made the song. And what I mean by progressively is that the thing with YouTube beats is that when you're given a certain beat structure, well, you have to follow that beat structure. You know, there's limited flexibility. You don't really have access to the stems sometimes, so you have to do with what you have. But when it comes to making your own beats, because you can manipulate how you want, like which instruments to play, which instruments to not play, it gives you, there's so much creative freedom that you can just fully express yourself, right? So in this case, I really wanted to play a response. I really wanted, like I said, a live feel, live drums. So I decided to play this pad that would act as a response when the Rhodes would call. So let's listen to that. So that's how. So this is how the foundation of the first beats were made. So it's really the Rhodes acting as a call and the pad acting as a response, and the drum beat just keeping the rhythm. So that's the first 3 elements. And then I added the bass. So the bass adds, of course, like another rhythmical groove to the song. I'll break down how I came up with this bass sound. Let me activate that track. So let me play the bass first. Let me play a few bars back. Let's listen to that. So let's listen to that bass. So the bass is what I did with the bass is I made the bass with a plugin called Syncell, which is a synthesizer in the Avid bundle. Basically, I took oscillator number 1, I tuned it down 12 semitones. I wanted it to play a bass. Then I cranked up the saw knob because I wanted a bit more of an aggressive sound. So saw waves do have a bit more of an aggressive sound. I cranked that at 73%. And just to dial a bit of smoothness back, the triangle wave at 40, well, it was at 45 something, but 45%. Oh, by the way, I froze this track here, so you won't hear the sound before. I hope it doesn't bug my... See how thin that sounds? So I wanted to bring up the mid-range more. So I brought up the mid-range with the Saturn 2 plugin. Let me mute the drum. So now I made it more mid-range focus. I almost take off a bit of low end. Now I'm reviving that hit by placing a Pro MB. Adding that much saturation compressed the sound, and I needed a bit of like that feel like a bass player's like playing with the strings. So in the 1.2 range, I brought up the beat, but it's going down all the way to 250. So I brought up back those bass frequencies, and most importantly, to make it sound more like a bass, I passed it through an MPEG plugin. Shout out Plugin Alliance. Really awesome plugin. I'm surprised actually at how bright and at how bright this track is, but it's because the drum, the kick drum is so. I wanted the kick drum to carry the low end weight, so that's why I made the bass very mid-ranged focus. Some won't agree with it. I preferred it that way. That's what I wanted, and that's my track. So yeah, no rules, right? To making music, you follow what you like, you follow your flow, and you just let it go. You express it, right? So I'll hide and make inactive that track. There we go. So now we have the bass with the kick. Let me pay it now with the melodic instruments. So this is the foundation. Right? So this is the foundation of the beat. And like I said, when I was talking about creative expression, right? I made sure that this pad 1 was this pad 1 was really a live feel. So I was playing this with my keyboard according to what I felt like needed to be the response. I really freestyled it, and it just gives it a more natural feel. And this was actually a response more to the lyrics than to the Rhodes, but more on that later when I'll talk about the vocal production. So now we have a really solid foundation with the bass, the drums, the pad, and then acting as a counter melody to the Rhodes, which is the main melody. Now, as much as this foundation is good, and I wrote most of the lyrics with these 4 instruments, I started feeling like there was a gap and a space that was missing. Okay, so all the instruments that you hear are forward, right? It's all present. It's like almost in your face. I needed to add some depth by putting some more quieter elements at the back, so it creates a bit more this illusion of depth and space. So what I did first, there are 3 things I did to fill out the depth. I added this pad here that you can barely hear, but it is there, and it's important because it adds tension to the track. This track has a very melodic, melancholic theme. There's a lot of tension in the lyrics, so I wanted tension in the beat, and the way I did it was by adding this pad. You might not even hear it. You might have to bring up your volume on your phone. I don't know. Let me play it in solo. Really, it's a very subtle instrument. It plays at the back of everything. I will play now the instrumental with all of the beat, but without the pad, and then with it. Let's listen without. Now let's listen with it. Without. With. See, it adds, now it gives a bit of sense and a bit of depth to the whole beat, just adding it in the background. And you can even hear it more in the verse. Right? It just adds that tension back to the beat, and it creates, again, like I said, that depth. So I felt like now that the melodic depth is filled, there's a rhythmical depth that I find was missing, like a void. I wanted a bit more rhythm, so I added these, not these drums. I added these perks, and all the perks here that you'll hear are shakers. So in the verse, you'll hear this too. Right? And I'm not playing this on a grid. Sorry, I'm really just playing it off a feel just to add that humane touch, right? Just to feel like it's not all quantized and all on the grid, all super perfect. No, this song needs imperfections. It's R&B. I wanted to be a bit more loose and just more vibey. So I vibed with the song. I played the shaker where it needed to be played. So that's for the rhythm. So then here, practically, I didn't add any more musical instruments. So the song is mostly done. But then again, there was a problem. It felt like still everything was forward, or it didn't have a place in the stereo field. It just didn't have the right place. So what I did was I broke a rule. I decided to put a reverb on the mix bus, which is crazy. But when I did that, I didn't have the vocal yet, but when I did that, it made the beat more cohesive. And I was like, whoa. So I put the beat reverb, I put the reverb, sorry, I put the reverb on the instrumental bus itself. Then it was messing up because of the hi-hat and the kick that's so present in the low end that no, it didn't work. So what I did was I created a parallel aux called beat reverb, and I just blended it in with the vibe that it needed. And I also sent a few instruments. I didn't send the shakers, I didn't send the bass, I sent the snare, and yeah, and I sent the hats. And I also sent all the melodic instruments. You will hear like how much more cohesive the instruments are with the beat reverb and without it. So I'll play it without it first. So let's play this verse here that has a bit more action. Quick pad. See, it feels like everything is like separate. There's no glue. So I glued it back together. Now it feels like there's a space with that reverb and it feels like the instruments belongs somewhere. So without, with, and it feels a bit more wide. Headphones recommended if you don't really hear the difference, but yeah, you can just hear immediately that everything starts to make sense with that beat reverb playing. So yeah, that's the beat. That's the whole foundation of the beat and filling out the space of the beat with quieter elements. So now what? Let me talk about the vocal production. Like I said, this beat was made progressively. I didn't make like the whole chorus and then I copy pasted the same elements. No, I played a chorus, then I made the verse, then I copy pasted the chorus, but then the response is a bit different. And then I made verse 2. So I'm going to talk about verse 2 specifically because in verse 1, you can notice, I'll put back the vocal. You will hear me for 12 bars. What? Oh.
On the business, yeah, we lack serious. All minimal progress, overshadowed by the way you highlight your face. Lying gets you paid, thinking spending time together increases my cheddar, apparently. Incredible.
So you'll hear me rap for like 12 bars straight. It's cool. It's a hip hop song. I'm a rap artist. I love to rap. But I felt like if I did that right after the second chorus, I felt like it would have been too mundane, repetitive, and a bit dull. And usually what happens with YouTube beats is that the way that they structure it is that you have twice the same verse and there's no breaks. Like there's no, like I said, it's limited creativity. You're given a structure and you just follow it, right? So it feels a bit rigid. So I had started writing lyrics for the verse. And what I did was that I just created 4 bars of me rapping.
I'm addicted to me, I can't help it. It's a West out of perspective. A PDA got others disgusted. I used to never mind it, now I see the POVs. Pretty shiny object syndrome, probably shouldn't leave alone.
So yeah, so right here, like I'm adding tension. It's a point of tension in the song, and it has to release that tension. And I decide to release it after 4 bars of me rapping. And what I did was that I manipulated the rhythm of the Rhodes. Let me isolate the Rhodes here. So I will play the section that I manipulate. You'll hear what I do. So this is the 4 bars of me rap, like what it sounds like. It's that 4 bar loop of the Rhodes, and then when the break comes in of verse 2, so I like chopped up 32s and 16ths of that Rhode according to how I felt sounded right. I wanted it to sound glitchy, and it helped break the rhythm of the song, of the dreaminess and the chords that are being played with the Rhodes. And I decided that my vocal would follow the rhythm of the Rhodes. So let's listen to that with my vocal with the Rhodes.
I don't know why I came in this room right now.
Right? It bounces with the Rhodes.
I return where I'm from just to figure it out. Okay.
So, and then you hear that little star sparkle.
Okay.
Oh, like,
Okay.
right? Just to transition to the next part. So it's a really cool way of adding variation, like just cutting pieces, bits and pieces of an instrument, of your main instrument, and then creating a different rhythm with it. You can do it manually. That's how I did it. Like I just cut 16ths of it, tested it out, and then glued it all together. But you can do it by sampling with your favorite sampler and then playing a different rhythm with it. So that's what I did for that.
Yeah, those lips kill me soft.
Yes. Let's listen to that Rhodes right here. This Rhodes.
Blown.
Oh, whoop.
Blown.
It doesn't sound clean, right? I messed up the fidelity of it. Clean, not clean. And the reason why is that you'll hear that this part is where I kind of talk and reveal the punch of the song that makes me super sad and just depressed. And I wanted to have a different, because the Rhodes almost sounds a bit too sexy and positive. I wanted to make the Rhodes a bit more distorted, but it's not distortion, right? I just wanted to make it eerie, a bit more eerie, if I can put it that way. And the way I did it was by adding a phaser on top of the original Rhodes. So let's listen to that part.
Lonely, yeah, those lips kill me softly, confusing you as a real thing. When you're there on my screen, when you're there, all my problems just ring, ring, ring.
Right? And yeah, so that's how you can creatively, like, to take a sample that's repetitive, you can just add variation by adding modulation, changing the rhythm of it, or, really just being creative with whatever sample you have. You don't need to just copy paste that 4 bar loop throughout the whole song, right?
Can you say what my thoughts are?
See again that phaser sound. Oh yes, before I get into that, in terms of vocal production, right? When I was done with verse,
All my problems just ring, ring, ring.
this quiet pad that I was telling you that was meant to add texture now is almost like a lead. I wanted this to be the main focus here. You'll see that I activated the air chorus just to thicken up the pad. Because now it becomes an element of stronger tension, and I'm adding the resolve to the song now. This is where I'm me as a character, as a protagonist rapper in this story. There's this resolution happening from all the tension, but I still need you to feel the tension. So what I did was I took that pad, I brought it forward by bringing up a bit the volume and by adding this chorus that thickens the pad. So let's listen.
Can you say what my thoughts are thinking right now?
Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone.
Can you say what my girl is thinking right now? Can you say
So again, like I said, this song is call and response, right? It's me doing a call in my normal rap voice. Then I used a pitched up voice with a little alter boy, changing the formant and the pitch and driving it a bit to have that digital sound, because the theme of this song is about me rapping about our toxic use of our cell phones and social media through the medium of a toxic girlfriend. Um, so really, I'm trying to give you hints in the music that I'm talking about a phone here. Um, I'll show you more the effects a bit later.
Can you say what my thoughts are thinking right now?
Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone.
Can you say what my girl is thinking right now?
Get down, get down.
Can you say what my thoughts are thinking right now?
Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone.
And this
Can you
pad
say
that plays
what my girl-
as a response, well, it's me playing it, freestyling it off the field, and it's repetitive. It does.
Can you
It's the same pattern I think as the last one, but I still played it with my MIDI keyboard. Okay.
the light that's in my room, don't fly away. I just need a girl to light my day. Blue light. Damn, it's not daylight. Blue light. It's not
Put a
daylight.
fade out of the drums and the Rhodes, and that's how the song is done. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What can we talk about? We can talk about these Rhodes here. That basically I just took the original Rhodes sample and then I flipped it. You can even read it here: OG Rhodes Rev, reversed, right? And then that's my intro to the beat. You'll hear rain sound effects. Like I was telling you guys, you can fill up space with quieter elements, but quieter elements also include sound effects. In this case, it's just rain, right? Yeah, and let's talk about a bit of effects. So like I was saying, there was the reverse Rhodes in the intro. I also took the snares. The snare that you hear being played repeated is the original snare sample from the beat, but I took the snare hits, but then what I did with the snare hits was I used the clip effects over here, and I EQ'd it differently each hit just to give a different feel. So it's not this bright, crispy snare all the time. It's just one more mid-range, one more crispy, so it just gives a different texture. Following that, like I said, that pad that introduces the chorus, I really wanted something to hit on the one, so ooh was the first thing I thought of. And then the little phrase, the light that's in my room, don't fly away. Well, it's the response to the ooh, right? And then pad accents to both the Rhodes and the vocal. Really, this song is a lot of call and response, as you can hear in the bridge, as you can hear in the Rhodes with the pad. Here, there's an effect of like I said, reactivity, right?
On the business, yeah,
the
we lag
drums.
serious. All minimal
Brought it
progress,
back.
overshadowed by the way you highlight your face.
back
Lying gets you
a bit of
paid.
rhythm.
Thinking spending time
Then
together
I-
increases my cheddar, apparently.
I muted the beat partially just to have, just for a word to cut through. And you'll hear that effect here also in the bridge. You can see the automation lane here. Oh, whoa. Let's go back. You can see the automation lane right here in the drums. I just silenced the drums.
But yet I've never felt so lonely. Yeah, those lips kill me softly, confusing you as a real thing.
And what's really cool is that you don't hear the kick anymore, but you hear the hi-hat snares being played in the background because of the beat reverb, and it plays at the back. And what's cool is that I've never felt so lonely. I've never felt so lonely. Something like I wanted to present that loneliness. So how do I do that? I suppress the sound by putting it in the background, by muting the main big hits of the drums.
Never felt so lonely. Yeah, those lips kill me softly, confusing you as a real thing.
And what's cool is that to accentuate that vocal production, that those syllables, well, that rhyme pattern and syllable is highlighted by the silence too, right? So yeah, silence is an incredible power, and you will hear. I want you to guys hear, and there's an effect.
alone. I don't know.
Oh, a reverse here. You'll hear a reverse here before the break.
Disgusted. I used to never mind it.
verse
Now
two.
I see the POVs.
And the
Pretty
break that I
shiny
was
object
talking
syndrome.
about.
Probably shouldn't leave alone. I don't know why I came in this room right now.
Right?
Yeah. I return where I'm from just to figure it out. Okay. To me, to assist my crew, but now wherever I go, you follow. It's as if you say, "Come feed my pocket." Crazy.
Let me isolate the Rhodes in the drum. So Rhodes here. I'm talking about a phone, right? Isn't that crazy? Like I'm using the sound of the Rhodes to follow the concept of me representing a phone. And here it is. This is the snare right here, snare 2. Let me mute that. It's basically the snare a bit with the hi-hat that was in there, where I slapped an Echo Boy. Now the plugin is frozen just to save some space, but I slapped an Echo Boy directly on the track, not in parallel. So I slapped it right on. I slapped the Echo Boy right on the snare track, and then I just played with the feedback, and I played with a different type of saturation. I think I used the Echoplex, I think, just to have that different, just to have a more reverbed sound. So yeah, those are mainly the effects that I use throughout the songs to help transition from one part to another. There's silence, there's sound effects like that. And like I said, you can use any element to help represent the lyrics of your song or the concept of a song with a sound, right? So yeah, that's it. That's the whole beat. 4 main instruments, 3 elements that are in the background to complement the whole space, along with a reverb that's applied on the whole beat, and a rain ambient sound just to fill out that space again, right? And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 and 3 for the lyrical and the mix breakdown. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a blessed night. Oh, yes. Sorry. One more thing before you guys do that, before I leave you guys. This is a note to all my producers, my beginning producers, beginning rappers, or wherever you are on your level of production. Don't be afraid to make your own beats. There's nothing wrong with collaborating with producers. There's nothing wrong with finding YouTube beats that sound really good. I mean, you know, as rappers, we always need sources of inspiration. But you know, there's so much freedom, and your creativity is limitless when you develop your skills of making your own beats that you want. So I encourage young rappers or young musicians in their career to keep going. Don't be afraid. Don't fear. We all start somewhere. It's very intimidating learning how to navigate through your DAW, learning how to navigate through your plugins, your instruments, your VSTs. But we've all been there, and it's a process. YouTube is a great resource to learn how some of these work, and you know, asking questions to us musicians or producers really, like, I think as musicians we're so down to collaborate with one another, right? So yeah, you can keep producing, keep making your own beats, start making your own beats. You'll see how much creative freedom you will gain from making your own beats. On that note, thank you for watching part 1 of the breakdown of my latest single called Accessorized Love. This is the beat breakdown, remember, so stay tuned for part 2 for the lyrical and part 3 for the mix and master. And I'll catch you on the next video. See ya.